Right, so it's another late night under the onion, and the first bit has gone back on. This is an exhaust support bracket. My dad shot blasted it for me, very kind, and I've painted it all up, so it's all on here. If you remember, I wasn't particularly happy with the finish underside, but now I have basically gone under the whole car and sprayed the whole thing from front to back, and now pretty happy. I did get absolutely filthy. Certainly, there's been questions whether there was more on me than on the car, but the coverage is pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with the finish. Right, actually, excuse the mess of the garden. I'm currently in the process of remodelling, but these have all either been blasted or wire wheeled all the way back down to the bare metal, depending which bit we're looking at here. New shock. Well, I say new shock, it's an old shock, but been repainted. Rear hubs. Track control arms. Again, look at the state of my garden. If you need to install rubber components, and they can be a bit of a pain in the arse, things like exhaust rubbers or bushes, that kind of thing, there's one thing that I find helps that doesn't destroy the rubber, and that is lube. Now, this comes in different varieties and flavours. I find Tingle works the best because I like the way that it feels on my fingers. And here we have, for example, the drop link on the back of the car, which has been refurbished, painted. You'll excuse the slight mist on these things. It's been very cold. It's currently about freezing outside, so leaving lots of fingerprints and stuff on there, but just get your lube, pop it in the holes, and then a G-clamp to put these things on. Happy days. And as a little bonus, it actually smells quite minty, but there you go, +1 for Durex Play. Okay, I've been a bit slack with regards to updating you as to what's been going on underneath the car. Garage is a bit of a mess still, but that's probably no surprise because of just shifting everything around under the car. But she's all painted underneath there now. I've been painting the lower arms. I've painted the anti-roll bar and a few other bits and pieces under there because I was quite happy with the finish from the exhaust bracket after it had been shot blasted, and I figured it makes it a bit easier to touch things back in again when it inevitably gets knocked and damaged through the course of, I say day-to-day life, but when I use it, you know, things scrape or bump when I've been reassembling the car, things get damaged. It just makes things a little bit easier to sort out. Had a bit of a nightmare with the fuel pump, trying to find a new one of those. Thought that was going to be really easy. Turned out not the case with the intake pumps, rarer than you'd think. So the sender unit and pump come together from Ford. It's about 500 quid if you can get one. I've managed to find a couple online for about 400, still expensive, but I found out that the aftermarket fuel pumps are actually a similar sort of size and got a tip on an AEM pump, which is capable of flowing up to 1,000 brake horsepower. So it's going to be plenty fine for this. Really won't be stretched at all. So I'm quite happy about that. Fuel pump is all assembled now. Thankfully, you've got the little filter at the end here. I've cleaned up the sender just to make sure that it's nice and loose. Well, relatively when it's the right way up. And you can just about see there that I've created the little loom that goes to the back. They were originally just little spade plugs. What I've done is I've used the waterproof connectors, which have the solder inside. It seemed to get a relatively good connection, but we will see, I guess, once I've got this all hooked up and inside the tank. I've had to make up some pipes to come across from the valves on the back of the brake drum backing plate across the back of the shock, so they're now done. I will just shout out Wes Motor here, were brilliant. I contacted them again just because I hadn't heard from them. I'd contacted them over Christmas, so perhaps not too fair. And I just sent them a message saying, guys, I haven't heard from you, we just need to get these hoses sorted, please. And got a message straight back saying, yep, we've revised the design, see what the problem is, not a problem, they'll be straight out to you in the post. And that was in the afternoon. The next morning they were there. So I really can't say fairer than that. I've made up the pipe that goes across from the back of the drum all the way across to the hose there. I'm really not looking forward to making up the pipes, so the rest of it has to be said, but it's got to be done before the tank goes back in. So we're nearly in a position where the back of the car's ready to go back together. I did test fit at one of the rear wheels just for my own satisfaction, really, although I can't quite jack them up high enough to see what it's going to look like when it's down. But the rear hubs are on, rear bearings are on, so we're not far away from being able to go. I wanted to originally get everything sorted and back on the ground before now, so I could get the garage door done. That didn't happen. Just life got in the way, and that was supposed to be sort of the beginning of, towards the tail end of December. So it's now booked in for February, which is about a month away. So a bit of work to do still. The whole front end section needs to be sorted before I can get it on the deck and get it moving. But I need to have at least a functioning handbrake to be able to move the car. So fingers crossed we'll get that all done. Finally, it's 2022, thank God. So that's the end of 2020 and 2021, and who knows, maybe things will be looking up this year. I'm really hoping to be able to get the car together and get it out, and to be able to enjoy it with my family. We'll see how that goes. Temptation to do all kinds of bits and pieces to the engine and everything else, but for the moment, I just want to get it on the deck and see if we can get it running, and maybe in for an MOT and go from there. We've had a Christmas 2021, and I've got something new. Little compressor. This one runs constantly if it needs. It's a 10 bar. It's only a 24 litre jobby, but very good for pumping up tyres, blowing dust off, and hopefully some light air tool use. And I've also got a retractable airline, which is pretty cool. Yep, quick release and all the other bits and pieces that go into it. So quite a nice little thing to get for Christmas. And that's it for now, but don't forget to like and subscribe to see what's happening next.